This story was not set in a jungle. It didn't unfold in a distant land. It began in the most ordinary of places: a city office, a crowded train, a quiet room. But it was anything but ordinary. Because dignity, once awakened, changes everything. Aman was not loud. He didn't command attention when he entered a room, but there was a steadiness in him, a gentleness that made others lean in without knowing why. He worked in a mid-level office, nothing remarkable. His desk sat near the back, tucked behind the louder voices and the quicker tempers. And that's where it began. The comments. At first they were small. A co-worker, Jatan, liked to talk over him in meetings. "No offense, but," he'd say, before dismantling Aman's ideas. "Lighten up, man, it's just a joke," he'd chuckle, after another dig cloaked in sarcasm. Aman would smile, politely. Try again. Lower his voice. But there's a line that lives somewhere deep inside, often quiet, but unshakable. And one morning, that line stood up. It was during a strategy meeting. Aman had been speaking, calmly, clearly, when Jatin interrupted again. He laughed, waved a hand, rolled over Aman's words like they were noise. Aman stopped. He didn't flinch. He didn't frown. He just looked at him. A long, silent, unwavering gaze. No anger, no reaction, no blinking. The room went still. One by one, the other voices faded. Jatan's smirk faltered. He shifted in his seat, glanced down at his notes. For the rest of the meeting, he didn't interrupt again. That was the first moment Aman reclaimed the space he had quietly given away. Something had shifted, not in the world around him, but in the core of how he chose to respond to it. He began to sense that not every battle needed words, that sometimes stillness spoke louder than speech, and that he could stand his ground without ever raising his voice. Another day in the break room, someone tossed a passive-aggressive comment about Aman's weekend plans. "Still on your little monk routine?" They sneered. Aman said nothing. He just sipped his tea. The silence stretched between them. The moment, starved of reaction, lost its power. He was learning that not every jab required a parry. Not every question deserved an answer. Some moments needed only a pause. And peace. And this wasn't just about silence. It was about choosing what deserved his energy. At a dinner one evening, an old friend asked, "Why did you quit that higher-paying job? You had security there." Aman looked up from his plate and smiled. "Because I wanted to." No lecture, no justifying his happiness, just a quiet sentence. The conversation shifted, the questioning stopped. In that moment, Aman realized something essential. He was not living for applause. He was no longer explaining choices made in alignment with his own truth. And that realization grew roots in his life. Still, the path wasn't always smooth. There were people he loved, people close to him, who continued to drain his spirit with constant judgment, veiled remarks, or coldness that came dressed as concern. But instead of confronting them, instead of trying to fix their perspective, Aman simply stepped back. Not in bitterness, but in clarity. He didn't cut them off. He didn't storm away. He just began creating space, one skipped call, one declined invitation at a time. And in that silence, something unexpected arrived. Freedom. He began to feel lighter, freer, as if the very air around him had shifted in favor of his peace. Distance, he discovered, wasn't a wall, it was a doorway, and through it, he could breathe again. With each step of this quiet transformation, his posture changed too. One morning, walking into the same office that had once stifled him, Aman moved with quiet confidence. His shoulders were relaxed, his spine straight, his eyes clear. When someone muttered a dismissive remark, he looked up, not to confront, but to affirm, "I see you, but I am not moved." That day, even his silence had weight. He walked not in defiance, but in dignity. In time, people stopped trying to shake him, not because they were afraid of him, but because they could no longer control the space where he stood. He had stopped waiting for their respect. He had chosen his own. And with every silent gaze, every answer left unspoken, every step back from noise, and every inch of upright posture, he reclaimed something that no one could take from him. Not permission, not validation, but peace. There are people in this world who will not understand you. They will test your limits, dismiss your truth, challenge your calm. Let them. Because the path of self-respect is not built with noise. It is built with discipline, with silence, with sacred boundaries, and with the courage to walk tall even when others try to bend your spine. Aman never raised his voice. He simply stopped lowering his head. And in doing so, he became more than a man who demanded respect. He became a mirror of it. If this story touched your heart, please consider subscribing to the Worker channel. Each video is created as a sacred offering to inspire, to remember, and to walk the path together. You can support this journey simply by clicking like, sharing it with someone who may need it, or leaving a comment below. Every action helps spread light into corners still waiting to be reached. And remember, true self-respect is not something we demand from others. It's something we embody, quietly, firmly, every day. Thank you for being part of this unfolding journey. Baba Nam Kevalam. Love is all there is.